She said, Jeff, if you get to the top and you're alone, is it really leadership? And I was floored. So for me, what I want to look at with leaders and what I want the book to do. The first thing it does is identify where are you at? Where are you naturally strong, right? The second thing it does is it identifies where are the gaps, okay? So which side of the leadership triangle, which leadership sphere is low? And then what I'm going to do is I'm not going to look at my weaknesses. I'm not going to look at my strengths. I'm going to look at those borderline strength traits, the things that with just a little intentionality would go from being just okay to being really good. Yeah. And I want to take those in the sphere that I need them in, and I want to work on those. Because if it's close to being a strength with 6 to 12 months of intentional development, I can turn it into a strength and people are going to notice. There are two problems with most leaders, though. Most leaders work on weaknesses or strengths instead of those borderlines because they want to be well-rounded. And a well-rounded leader is just a bad leader. Pure and simple. None of us are actually well-rounded. So if I spend 10 years working on a weakness and I make it average, what did I do? I should have hired someone who was better than me at that area, been honest with my boss and said, hey, I'm going to struggle here, but here's where I'm going to shine. But the other thing is we never tackle our blind spots, because blind spots, when you think about blind spots, Avery, blind spots are rarely weaknesses. Blind spots are those areas where when someone tells you you're bad, you go, what are you talking about? I've got evidence that says I'm pretty good here. I've got some wins in this area. Well, you probably do, but if you're just okay and not great, then you have a confidence of not being bad, right? Mm-hmm. But you have the proficiency of not being great. And that's where people see blind spots. Blind spots are the rub that keep us held back. So for me, I was a driven leader. I measured probably on a scale of a 10 at about a 7 on love. Okay. An 8 or a 9 would take it to a strength. So I thought I loved people well, right? Because I wasn't a jerk. I didn't just, run over people on purpose. But what happened was I moved so fast, people didn't feel heard and valued. So they would say, Jeff, you love me at the beginning, but then toward the end of a project, they say, hey, I think you just used me. So I had to grow in that. So it's really to take a leader and say, where are you strong? You just keep moving there. That's who you are. Where you're weak, if it's not critical, forget about it. But where are the 2 to 3 areas that if you were intentional, you could transform your leadership and bring balance? So for every person who reads the book, every person who takes the assessment, it's not one size fits all. It is unique to you. Doesn't matter if 1 million people have taken it. It's unique to you. And you'd say, okay, where I'm at, this is what I need to do to grow. And there's a free assessment with the book. I have another one. It's $35, comes with a 30-minute coaching session from a certified coach. But it actually has you, someone who leads you, and someone who you lead take it. And there's no hiding. That's who I am. But there's always a path forward unique to you.
That's so good. I love the fact that it's practical, that it's customized to me and my leadership. And that, like I said, it's already something that's inside of me. And now I got to figure out where to lean. I've read so many books that are like, here's 12 things you need to go and develop. And you're like, I can't do that. But if this is already in me, this is a tool that a leader can get into their hands and they can immediately start using. So just as you're talking, I really want to get this into people's hands. So what we're going to do is, if you're watching this podcast, if you're listening to this podcast, we're going to have 5 copies that we are going to give away to 5 people and one of the assessments. And so you have to connect with us on leadingasleaders.com to find out how to get those, how to win those. But Jeff, I believe that this is something that could absolutely elevate leaders. So I want to get this book into people's hands, at least get one of the
Awesome.
assessments into their hands, and just watch the leadership of those around us grow. Well, Jeff, thanks for joining us on the podcast. This has been great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this kind of seed that's going to plant is going to do to our organizations, our churches, our teams, as our leaders
Yeah.
really do step up from being average, to stepping into that next level. So thanks for joining us on the podcast, man. This has been great.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I can't wait to see how it transforms people's leadership and hear their stories.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us. You can get more content on leadingasleaders.com. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, and hopefully something we've said today helps you as you're leading his leaders. Thanks, everyone. That was Jeff Cochran, author of Next Level Leader. Discover your strengths, transform your leadership, and escape average. Video produced by Priyanish Animations at priyanish.net. Music produced by Uphill Studios at uphillstudiosonline.com.